first round. So the round of 60 game against Portugal, I watched that game. It was a 5-goal thriller, but the Ghanaian came good in that game. The guy that scored this goal, of course, look at one of the goals. This same player has been the thorn in the flesh of the Ghanaian team, even right from the first game of the tournament, because Ghana started the tournament. They were the first team that started this tournament.
Tavin.
The game France, yes, Tavin got a brace in this game. It was a thorn in the flesh in the Ghanaian team, even the first game. Of course, he still had his way in this game. 1-2 pass and round up the goalkeeper, saw an empty net, put that behind the net, and putting the French team ahead just towards the end of the first half. But it's just like I was saying, the Ghanaians will just have to see this as one of those talking high points.
They should be happy because this was a team that was almost on the way home after the first round.
They lost their first 2 games, the game against France and the game against Spain. They beat United States in their last game. 4-1. So of course,
but then look at this goal by Ghana.
Ebenezer Asifua, their most outstanding player,
was a
very
beautiful
brilliant.
finish.
It was
Beautiful finish.
That was nothing the goalkeeper could have done. He looked at the ball as if was looking at a very beautiful girl passing by. So the man who led them to glory in 2009, still wants my thought we want to do that a double again after 4 years. You just have to give it to the Ghanaian team. The way they took out even Chile in that extra time. When the Chileans scored the second goal, I felt it was all over. Even the third goal, I felt it was all over. I switched off my TV, coming back again to see that Ghana are through to the semi-final. Wow! I said this will be a very lucky Ghanaian side, because but they stretched too far against the French side, who actually has an intent of winning this trophy. They were in Colombia. They were semi-finalists in Colombia, but they couldn't go past the semi-final. But now they are in the final. But we must give credit to this guy that put this goal behind the net. One of the top scorers in this tournament is now among the top scorers in this tournament. Brilliant finish from Ebenezer Asifua. And Ghana will look at this tournament as one of those they will say yes, they mark improvement from the last edition. We are not at the World Cup in Colombia, but now we came to Turkey, and this was the goal that nailed the coffin for the Ghanaian team. Actually, like you mentioned, Team African Hope had the World Cup. But I don't know whether it's an abysmal failure for an African team or not. But one team gets to go to the semi-final. It's a fair tournament for African team.
Two dropping out in the first round, one dropping out in the second round,
and one going to the semi-final. So they still have an opportunity of getting something out of it. Third place.
All right, so that's the story for Ghana. But then, as you know, the second semi-final game is currently going on. The fairy tale team of this tournament are not even the Ghanaians. The fairy tale team, the team from Asia, is Iraq. And as we speak, Iraq and Uruguay are playing out extra time now. The game is live. It's extra time. It's 1-1. Iraq scoring early in the game, in the first half, I think about the 30th minute or thereabout, and Uruguay equalizing about 2 or 3 minutes to the end of the game. So the game has been dragged into extra time. Remember that Iraq got to this stage by taking out Korea
in the previous round
after extra time and penalties,
and they beat Paraguay also, and of course they on their way they played against England, and we must give even Egypt in that group, so we must give them credit because some of this Asian team, they come with in this tournament like it's a flash in the pan, like we used to say.
They've been widely celebrated.
Yes. Because someone was saying, the end of the road are they going back to the eras when they won their first major title in world football? That's the Asian Cup in 2007.
And they were part of the FIFA Confederations Cup in 2009.
So, but we just look at this game, even if they crash out at this stage, it's still a very wonderful tournament for them.
All right, so the game is still on. It's extra time. We will keep you posted and let you know as things unfold in that game between Iraq and Uruguay. You also need to remember that it was Uruguay that knocked out the Flying Eagles of Nigeria 2-1 in the second round. So Iraq 1-1 at extra time. There's still plenty to play for. If it stays that way, the teams will go into penalty. Iraq have gone through shootout before in their victory against Korea. I'm sure they don't want to go that far anymore, but the game is still on, and we will continue to update you with all that is happening around that tournament. But as we wrap this up, very quickly, the standard of football, we're expecting Spain, the top teams, to go all the way. But we are seeing Iraq, we are seeing Uruguay, we are seeing France, we are seeing little-known teams taking the limelight at this FIFA Under-20 tournament.
Remember that in the South American zone, it was
Brazil did not even qualify.
They didn't qualify.
Argentina didn't qualify.
So the powerhouse as far as at this level as far as this level is concerned, they are not part of this. So it means any team that will match from those
South America,
zone,
which is Uruguay now.
Uruguay. So it means they have something up their sleeve. For France, the French team, remember they hosted.
They beat us in the quarterfinals in 2011.
So I know how they beat us in that quarterfinal. It was a massive game. So it means they've improved. So they hosted the Toulon Invitation, huh? Even though they were the champion, they didn't win it, but it was a learning cup for them, and they went to Turkey. They took out something from that experience in Toulon. They are now in Turkey. They are in the final. So it means a lot of things has gone into that team. They've got to mark improvement in that team, massive.
And of course, as we always know about the French team, it's like it's like a UN team. Everybody from every part of the world have an input. Especially African players.
You can see the French team. You just pocket of white players in the team.
United Nations.
I think he's giving them that kind of leverage in football. When you have access, when you have your borders are open to people of African descent into your country, you can, even though you accommodate the
irony of it is that after playing at this level, some of them may never get to play at the French national team, and they will go back to the country of origin.
They will go back to the country sometimes, but sometimes, okay, yes, you may be correct, yes, in those cases, but sometimes you look at the French league, it's still going to fall back on the French leagues. These guys have gone to the World Cup, they've had a few experience in world football, go back to their club and try to impact on the progress of their club.
All right, so that's the story of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. As we said, the second game is in extra time. Iraq and Uruguay still playing out a 1-1 draw. We'll update you with the result of that game as we go on sports.